For this presentation, I was requested to create a blog for EA in respect to show off what the positives would be to investing into rural areas of India. And as you can see right here, here's the basis of the blog section, showing off a few of the basics of the page and just showing the basic layout of how it would operate and how it would be from the beginning. And then going into the sections, the first one is the company section. Here's a basic layout of what the company section portrays and shows off, a basic understanding of the company, EA itself, and then a little bit of the why moving in towards the rural areas of India would be actually positive for them. Next, going into the expansion analysis, showing off reasons into why expanding into those specific areas would benefit them, going from the basics of a large population. Thus, you get that population the ability to actually interact with EA services to be able to purchase things from EA, because currently there, as it says when you read through, that the amount of people in the rural areas who actually even have access to technology that would give them that is limited. So by EA doing multiple methods of going in, they could give the people the opportunity to actually be able to interact with technology to get to EA's normal stuff, but then also creating the means for them to interact with technology would create a positive as far as a marketing and advertising to be able to showcase, similar to how other companies have done, to showcase that they've done things that make them seem more humanitarian-esque and give positive image. This would be positive impact for those areas. Also creating more of an ability to have their income increased, which would then going into the expenditures that normally accompany with EA, which is the disposable income, giving them more of that, and then they already have the positive view for EA, and then thus spending into it. This goes along into the product service section, which is more or less bringing in that the main source of the what EA should do in that area currently is dealing with bringing the internet cafes, as I've labeled, and going into why bringing in the services of the internet cafe and how the service would actually work, starting off from simply like this is a method that's been used in other areas that the technology at home is not as accessible, or even for, in some cases it's for travelers, but in this case it's more so for the actual immediate population in that area not having access, and then how they could gain access and use this and then make things better for them, but also, since this is business, to make a profit and how the profit would come about and how soon or late they would expect to get the profit. Next section is the market data flow. This section in the blog, it goes into a little bit of, as it's showing there, the expected gains initially, how the gains would be coming from this model, as showing it's primarily, especially early on, going to be from the actual time that people are in the internet cafe, and then the cost of that time, and then expect a little bit of purchases from in-game comment to actual games or any other software-based things that they could purchase from EA. Some would, because it's always an outlier, so incorporate that there's a little bit of it, but the main flow would be from the time and how that would reflect. Then moving on to the quantitative analysis, showing off, this is basically showing why the going to the rural areas is something that should definitely be looked into, and in the future why this is going to continue to be a place that you should definitely try to get your brand into the mindset of these people viewing it positively, and then actually to purchase stuff from you, as the showing from, this is a frequency going from population, the total population versus the rural population, and over the course of 10 years, how the rural population is continuously going up and becoming more and more of the higher percentage of the whole country of India itself, and the why getting into the market for getting to that large of a population, even getting a tiny amount per person, would then turn into a large amount of profit. And so thus creating these internet cafes would ultimately be positive, as long as they're implemented in a way that seems to be useful to the population. Then you move on to the target area. This is showing off, as it's the geolocation showing off the 4 different main places for the test market for this, where they would be built in the states of India. And these are the highest rural states per population. And these would be the target areas for the basic just startup of the internet cafes, because you don't want to invest too heavily into the areas that then the population might not view it as something that's useful to them because they're not used to it. They might not see the necessary means, and also allows you to be able to focus more heavily on those areas to promote it, so then you can use those as another method for showing the later on expansions of, hey, these are popular, these are why they're popular, and to be able to actually market them to those areas and understanding how to market to the areas. Because this also goes into the cost, how initially showing the basic of the $10 and how this could be changed based on the area. If the people don't view $10 an hour gains them something that's actually meaningful, then you need to be able to adjust it, but not so much in a way that it could negatively impact you, but also just with other things. You can also use the model of start off low and slowly increase based on different standards such as inflation or market increase, and be able to handle the expenditures of it. Also, once you get enough people going in, the cost being low or high, if you get enough population to go in, even at the lower cost, you'll still be making the profit. The main attempt with the targeting these areas is, of course, to get the people to feel that it is a need that they use it, and then that is positive. And these two things will impact and give a positive outlook on it that would make this more successful and ultimately lead to being able to create more positive income through the area of India. And thanks for watching.